Breaking: Israel begins localized raids in Gaza, as IDF allows safe movement on TWNO roads south before new deadline. Israel has offered time-limited safe passage to more than 1 million Palestinians ordered to leave northern Gaza as the military carried out localized raids ahead of an expected ground assault. The mass exodus came despite warnings from the United Nations and aid groups. Such a forced evacuation would have devastating humanitarian consequences, with hospital patients and others unable to move. Israel has now extended a deadline for people to leave, allowing the safe movement of Gazans on two main roads south between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. local time, 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. UK time. Follow live. Gazans told, "Go south if you want to live," as families in cars, lorries and donkey carts packed with their possessions headed south from Gaza City. Israeli airstrikes continued in the besieged territory. Hamas said 70 people, mostly women and children, had been killed in an attack on a fleeing convoy. Sky News has seen footage that appears to show the truck both before and in the aftermath of the strike. As families in cars, lorries and donkey carts packed with their possessions headed south from Gaza City, Israeli airstrikes continued in the besieged territory. Hamas said 70 people, mostly women and children, had been killed in an attack on a fleeing convoy. Sky News has seen footage that appears to show the truck both before and in the aftermath of the strike. It was not immediately clear who the target of the airstrikes was, or whether militants were among the passengers. Meanwhile, the Israeli Defense Force (IDF) said its troops conducted raids into Gaza to battle insurgents and hunt for more than 120 civilians kidnapped in last weekend's shock assault by militants on southern Israel. It is the first time Israel has stated ground troops have been operating inside the Strip. Israeli media reported remains of people who had gone missing in last week's attack had been found during the IDF raids. The military also said a drone strike had killed a number of militants attempting to cross from Lebanon. For nearly a week, Israel's military has been launching retaliatory airstrikes on Gaza targeting Hamas since the ruling Palestinian militant group stormed the border last weekend, killing hundreds of Israelis in their homes as well as 260 others at a music festival. The Palestinian Health Ministry said 2,269 people have been killed in Israeli strikes on Gaza, including hundreds of women and children, and thousands more injured. Israel said a total of 1,300 of its people have been killed since Saturday's surprise raid as its troops continue to mass along the barbed wire fence ahead of a possible ground offensive on Gaza, with 360,000 reservists called up. Palestinians had been ordered to evacuate to the southern part of the territory across the Wadi Gaza, a piece of coastal wetland with a river running through the middle, to save their lives. But Hamas militants have vowed to fight and told residents to stay, urging them not to fall for fake propaganda. Read more on this story. Why Israel is braced for Hezbollah attack from Lebanon. How negotiators will be working to free Hamas hostages. The UN had appealed for the evacuation order to be rescinded to avoid turning what is already a tragedy into a calamitous situation.